What is up, everybody? Marky here, and today I thought we would go into the Tera Raid battle system in the Poke Portal and show you guys how to refresh and update those Tera Raid battle systems and get into the battles that you actually want to get into. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get right into it because I think this will be super helpful, especially for the Walking Wake Iron Leaves promotion that's going on, so you can get the other version exclusive from other people that are hosting raids. So let's go into the Poke Portal and into the Tera Raid battle system, and let's take a look at it because honestly, it's terrible. Like, it's awful. The Sword and Shield one, the YCOM, refreshing actually. Once you kind of figured out how to navigate it, it was pretty good. But this is awful. And now, what I will say with the Tera Raid battles is, in comparison to Sword and Shield, you could find shiny dens that people were hosting a lot easier, and it seems like in the Tera Raid battles in Scarlet and Violet, there's not a lot of shiny dens per se. It's just harder to refresh. There's not a system like there was in Sword and Shield. So if you're refreshing this for shinies, I would advise against it. I think there are better ways to do that, and there are other videos on YouTube on how to really shiny hunt in this game. Because a lot of the shinies that I found personally in Sword and Shield were just shiny raid dens that people were hosting. Now, with this game, I think, well, for one, the Tera Raid battles are super difficult, especially at the higher levels. So when you're joining these public raid dens, they can be very difficult if you don't have a cohesive team with good Pokemon. And so maybe in the future I'll make a video on like some good Pokemon to bring into these dens, especially at the higher stars. But as you can see firsthand, we have the two raid dens that pop up. So these ones, as soon as you're going to get in to the search, you're going to want to click them right away. And honestly, it's very hard to get into them right now just because it's a fresh promotion and people want these two. So in terms of refreshing the system, right? So let's say there's a 6-star raid that you really want. They have higher IV levels as you go up, right? So you want maybe a Salamence that you can breed or just use for competitive battling, or, you know, so yeah, this is a Salamence, Talonflame, whatever. So the first thing obviously is just trying to get into the Tera Raid battle. What I've seen is eventually, after maybe a couple minutes, if you see down below in the right, it's going to ask if you want to check for new postings. So if you've kind of been communicating and not really joining anything, eventually it's going to refresh. They'll refresh for you. But if you're communicating for a while, also most of the times you're not going to get into a Tera Raid battle. But also the thing is, it makes you communicate until you get rejected, as you know, the raid den has already started. So like I said, this system is not very good. Every couple minutes they'll let you check for new postings. You can go to click random and you can do that, and so we'll take a look at it. But right now, like I said, we're communicating, which if it's, yeah, so communication with the trainer was interrupted, and that basically means that, yeah, you weren't able to join the raid den. Either they quit out or they already started. So like I said, if you go down below and you click X on your controller, eventually they will let you refresh and find new raid dens, and it looks like they automatically have dens here for the new promotion. So that's pretty cool. But as you can see, it refreshed. So you can click on any of these, and you know, you can join them. You can click random. So sometimes if you click random, it'll like refresh it. So most of the times, also the random, like I usually don't want to join, but this is actually a Corviknight, so that's pretty good. But if you abandon it and click out of it, obviously the random, it won't let you choose that feature, and you step away from the raid. But also it adds to that check for new postings timer, because basically what you want to do is, if you don't like any of these, you just want to make it so it checks, it refreshes itself. So maybe I'll try joining another one that maybe I know I'm not going to get into, because what I found that if you try joining 2 raid battles and they don't let you join for whatever reason, usually it automatically pops up that you can check for new postings. So some methods, right? If you join 2 that you know you can't join, it'll update the check for new postings. If you're idle for like a minute or 2, you'll also be able to check for new postings and refresh the feed. So those are 2 kind of ways to refresh the feed. Another way is, so as you can see, right, so it's kind of on a timer, that check for new postings, I think. So we tried joining a random, which we backed out, and then we tried joining the Camrupt, and we backed out, and then now we have a check for new postings. If we're idle, like I said, for a couple minutes, the check for new postings feature will come up and we'll be able to refresh. I've also found that every once in a while, if you exit out of the Tera raid battle menu and then open it back up, sometimes it'll just automatically refresh for you as well. Like I said, this feature is not good, so this time it didn't. Another thing that you can try doing, this is also kind of time consuming, but you can like disconnect from the internet. So we can disconnect and then we can connect back to the internet, and sometimes that also refreshes the Tera raid battles. So this is kind of a quick way, and it doesn't always work, but sometimes it will, and it also will update that, check for new postings. So this time it didn't. It's just so weird. This system is really just terrible. Like I said, I think the Sword and Shield, the YCOM refresh, once you kind of figured it out, was pretty good, and you'd be able to update and find new dens for that game fairly quickly. But this one is pretty terrible. I'm not gonna lie. It's not very good with refreshing. It's very time consuming to get into these raid dens, and there's not really a great way to do it, honestly. But sometimes in your game, a certain Pokemon that you want at a higher den level isn't going to be there, right? So this is a great way of finding those. Like, that's a star. That's awesome. That's a Staraptor right there, a 6-star Staraptor den, which may not appear in your game at that point. So it's just not a great feature, and this function is pretty terrible. But what I will say, so to refresh, if you try joining a couple, that check for new postings will appear. For me, it's every 2. So if you try joining ones that you're not going to get into, like all right, so if you open up this menu, right? So if I go back, and this is specific to the new promotion, Iron Greaves and the Scarlet one. So if you open up this menu, and obviously, okay, see, okay, so it refreshed, so that was good. But if you open this up right away and you try clicking into it, it's going to be these are going to be very difficult to join. So these are the top 2, the promotion. They're difficult to join. You kind of have to click right away as soon as you get into the raid den search area. So if you're not going to get into one of them, you click on it. Maybe you click on the random, or you click on another one that you're not going to get into. 2 unsuccessful raid den communications. It'll update check for new postings. If you're idle for like a minute or 2, it should update and let you check for new posting and refresh as well. Or sometimes, like it just happened there, if you close out and you go back into the Tera raid battle search, they will update. It's a very finicky system, but these are the couple of methods that I have found that works the best. And all I can say is it's very time consuming and very annoying. But if you guys have any other methods that work, please comment down below, as maybe it'll be helpful for me too. It's not a very good system, but yeah, I mean, I do really enjoy these raid battles. I think they're a lot of fun. They can be challenging at the higher levels. Honestly, they can be challenged for maybe it's just me, but I do really like joining these raid dens, and I've had a lot of fun. It's just actually getting into the search, especially online, that seems to be the most difficult. So, like I said, if you guys do like the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also comment some ideas or maybe some methods that you have found that have been really helpful in getting into these raid dens that you actually want, or just refreshing, right? So I was idle for a minute or two. It'll let me check for new postings right there. Ooh, there's a Dragonite, a Ditto. Oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, like I said, hopefully this is helpful. If it wasn't, I apologize. And then comment down below and let me get know your thoughts. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will hopefully see you guys on the next video. Have a good one, guys. Peace. Oh, and I got into that Ditto one, so I'm definitely gonna do this one.